it's Dustin with Tech MD. We are going to come at you with another 3080 Ti teardown and some cooling tricks with liquid metal. I know I haven't been showing the before and after, or the befores, so I kind of want to get the before in here. So GPU 0 is going 4796, and the next GPU is 5982. But then, as you can see, it jumps up to 90. So they're certainly fluctuating in temperatures. I still got to mess with my other 3090 here, but for the most part, I want to do a consistent 81. Now, the reason why this probably is not doing 81 consistently is I'm pretty sure that's my main GPU I'm using. So I want to work on the one that says 81 megahashes, and that the temperatures are fluctuating on the EVGA, and I'll just try to get some colder temperatures on this for the Win edition here. As you can see here, I have fans blowing on it, and I want to just get these all nice and icy cold before doing it, so I don't have to use these fans, so it's less electricity. As you can see, that's my other EVGA, this hybrid one over there. But we're going to work on this one today, and then I'm going to fix this one. I'm going to fix the pads, and then we're going to work on that one last. And then I got some laptops and stuff like that I want to do for you guys as well. Okay, so we got the 3080 EVGA torn out of the computer. Now what I've learned is that these really nice thermal pads are very rigid. So if you measure one size, I actually have to go down by 0.5 millimeter to make these work. Go figure. So that's what I've been doing wrong, and I'm hoping I'm going to stick with that procedure of just overestimating or getting the exact and then going down a little bit on the pads. That's my best way around this problem. So we're going to have to start removing all these screws, and there's quite a few of them on this EVGA. I'm using a 00 screwdriver, just a heads up. You can get them in the link in the description. I use grip tools. I use them for cell phone repair as well. But yeah, it's quite a learning experience to do this all by yourself, and really just didn't find very much help online. And so I'm hoping these videos will help you guys want to cool your units. Mine gets very hot, even with the 3080 Ti, and it's also good to open them up. Apparently I forgot to press record. Anyways, I've been using this tool, and I've been removing these screws out of here, and I'm keeping them nice and organized. Okay, guys? Sorry about the video up front, but at least you got the front facing here. Also, the warranty stickers are only good for outside of the United States, maybe other countries, but they don't mean nothing here. Just trying to get it off, jeez. They still have to warranty it. As long as they can prove that you didn't screw it up. If you watch this video, you'll be pretty good not to. Mind you, you want to wait and watch the whole video for results to make sure, first of all, it was worth it, and second of all, that I didn't break nothing. If this one screw doesn't want to come out, I'm just going to push from the other side. Now that helped it. I did the same thing with this one over here. Apparently there's some nuts or something that just are falling out. Wow, that's interesting. It hasn't had it on any of the other ones I've worked on so far. Looks like the nut is below the screw here. That's interesting. They just want to make life difficult, apparently. Looks like we don't have to remove that one quite yet, but let's go ahead and get this other one removed. Apparently I dropped a nut somewhere. Is this a battery backup? Whoa, this is crazy. The board kind of looks slightly bowed. That's interesting too. There's some kind of switch here too. This is definitely nothing like the other ones. That's very interesting. I hear that nut rattling around. Oh, there it is. Well, just for sake of the graphics card here, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery backup. Then we're going to disconnect the fans after we pull this off. Unlike the 3090, there is no memory chips on the back. Now we're going to be doing liquid metal today and new thermal pads, so be aware that you don't have to do liquid metal or thermal pads, but you always have to replace that thermal paste when you're opening it up. Highly recommend it. There's a couple more screws here, guys. Trying to show you. Kind of tricky to show the camera like that, so I'm just going to not do that for the final one. This plate just comes off. Okay, so this should be fairly sealed down with some fresh thermal paste from the factory. And I'm just doing a little bit of a pull, trying to see if I can get something loose here. Next thing would be is to remove the fan if this doesn't want to come loose. I don't see any screw threads through the unit, so I don't see what could be holding onto it more than just a simple paste. There it is. It's coming loose. So it is on there pretty hard. And I think out of all of my cards, this one ran the coolest, but still could use some extra cooling. Oh, there's one more. I mean, these cables are really tiny. I'm just pinching here. I'm just pulling out. Just careful. Now, if this is not something up to your something that you think you can do, I'll be glad to do this for you guys. I charge $250 and I can do a full cleaning as well with that. Okay, we need a rag and some alcohol. First thing we want to do is put clear coat for the liquid metal. Just using 99% alcohol to clean off the original thermal paste and a rag. You can use 91. We want to try to clean all these little resistors. If sending it in to me is something that you are interested in doing, we do guarantee that nothing bad will happen. But if your unit's just overheating, you know, just do thermal paste yourself. Unless you feel not comfortable, then we can do thermal paste in pads or liquid metal and pads, whatever you want. Just cleaning off the old pads here. They're kind of wet. And they leave kind of a nasty little mark. Jeez. This is also the first GPU I've seen them using thermal, not paste, but thermal gel or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but oh, a thermal putty. That's very possible that that's putty. Certainly looks like it. I just kind of wonder if it almost looks like putty, but these are pads. It's crazy. Alright, we're going to go get the clear coat and then be back. Okay, so next part is we're going to clean this off, the GPU, and we're going to do some measuring too. We can actually measure the chips because we're going to put it directly under the chip. You don't have to measure the pads. We just want to measure the thickness of the pads here. And these should be all the same size, so just grab the smallest one here. Now you want to carefully cut this off just in case you have to put the originals back on. So like a thin metal tool, like I'm using an iseasmo tool here. And then I have a calibrator. I'll link in the description if you need your own. So these are 2mm pads. But they do feel, I mean, these were, I don't know, these are squishier, and these were 2.5 measure, and these were from a gigabyte. These feel like 2. It's so hard to figure out. I want to do 2. I swear, though, it doesn't work. I'm going to instant regret. It's okay. There's other GPUs that have 2, so I'll use them in the future, I guess. Alright, so now we're going to get a rag and some alcohol. I never do the side chips because they run just fine. What we're trying to keep really cool is these VRAM and the main board. Now that copper really scratches easy. It's crazy. could the EVGA be different? That's the question. I don't know. But I really feel like these are better pads. So I might not get too much better performance out of these pads that I'm going to be putting on. But the main thing we wanted to do for sure was the liquid metal. So I'm using just a clear base coat. We're going to cover all the resistors so when the liquid metal does spill over, it doesn't cause any problems. You do want a nice thick coat, and make sure you don't get any on the GPU. Just push it over to the side if you feel like it's not getting over there. Wipe off any excess that you get on this bracket here. It's the first time I actually got some on there. I don't know why they don't cover it already for us, but it'd certainly be nice in NVIDIA. Or even why you don't put liquid metal on computer itself already. So yeah, liquid metal is very highly conductive, and that's why you need that material. And this is also why I wanted you to watch it all the way through before doing anything. All the risk you'll be taking if you're doing this yourself. Don't expect to get it right the first time. I certainly didn't. But the goal of my videos is hopefully that you can. Liquid metal is the 5 milligrams was way too much. I might need it, but to be honest, it's just a pain to work with. So here we go. Now, looks like I got a little bit of gunk on the chip, so I'm going to clean the chip one more time. My bag is done for. Wait for your clear coat to dry before putting liquid metal on. I'd say 5 minutes. I'm not really worried myself. Okay, and we're going to try to get as little as possible. This thing just likes to start streaming out, especially on my 5 milligrams. It just keeps on coming out. And then pull the plunger back just a tad. Just a tad, so that way it doesn't leak out. Or at least that's the goal. We're just going to smush it and then rub it all around. Nice thin coat, guys. But it does need to be coated all around. On every part of the GPU. Small little bubbles are not going to be a huge issue. Just don't make a huge habit of it. Just trying to cover the streaks that I left. Okay, nice thin coat. Set that off to the side there. As I remember, there was a certain distance. $16.5. Well, actually, yep. About 12.5. We'll just set that aside. Yep. I can literally see the residue. Yep. So that residue that is left over is the exact shape that we want to do. And then we just want to go a little bit beyond it. If you don't have enough, try still some from your GPU. If you still don't have enough, then put a little on. Just want enough to make sure you have a coating on. It's shiny. I would say that's pretty good. Okay. Now, as long as you don't have too much liquid metal on there, you can put this on if you haven't done your pads. But if you're doing your pads, then you're going to obviously follow more instructions. So I'm going to go with my gut and say it's a 2. But my gut's been wrong almost every time. And if it's wrong, then it's not going to boot probably like the Gigabyte. And I'll have to redo it with 1.5s. But these feel pretty rigid, strong, like my it actually looks slightly thicker, so who knows. Typically, 4 of those are the length of what we're cutting with, so we'll verify the length real quick. What you're going to do is take this here and then measure your length of resistors, or VRAM, excuse me. So we got 50.5. Yep, that's exact right size. And then we just need to measure how long the RAM chip was, which as far as I remember is 14.5. Or 14s. Okay, next thing is you want to peel this back. Get your X-Acto knife. Maybe scissors, I don't know. I just use the X-Acto knife. You want to do this on wood or something metal, you don't really care about, so I'm just going to do it on the back of this plate here, since I don't want to remove everything I already have up. I'm going to need 3 slabs of this. little crooked. Take a ruler or whatever to try to connect them the best you can. If you mess up, it's not that huge of a deal. We got one coming up right here. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on since it came up with the ruler. It doesn't have to be perfection, it just has to be perfection when it comes to the height of it. Okay, the next one was we got to measure this RAM chip here. So 12.5. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and get the tiny one that we measured out. And we'll pull off the other one that should fit this perfectly. So it was just one piece cut. Worked. Fits perfectly. And if you guys are looking for this, it's a link in the description. It is some of the best. I did not get the very best. It's literally it's double the price, and I was experimenting and totally screwed up. So you want to buy the very best, fine. Just make sure that you know what you're doing. And they're really, really expensive. Well, let's see if these are comparable. I'd say they're very comparable, but they always look comparable until they don't work. So we'll find out. Cross our fingers, guys. Cross our fingers. We have to get these connections on first, and then we'll flip the board. I have no clue how to get that one nut that wants to be a big pain back on, but it is what it is. Okay, be careful with that liquid metal. You don't want it to touch anything. This card is a little bit more difficult than the others because of all these little fan cables. Also, this unit takes more power than all of the other ones. EVGA, they like to have 3. Not great for the miner. Looking really good, but we're going to check alignment before setting it down. Keep it lifted up a little bit. Looking for alignment along right here, guys. It's where we want the alignment. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and put this weird, looks like an Xbox clamp back on. Put one screw there, and then force this one down. Till it catches. Then force this one down. This is going to be the hardest one, probably. I'm putting a fair amount of pressure on there. Just nice and even screw down here, guys. It's already tight. 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 Plug this back in. And get our plate back on. And that plate there. So I'm thinking maybe the nuts were underneath this. No, they have brackets here. I feel like I'm missing some nuts, but hell, maybe I'm going nuts. So I just want to get the screws, all the screws in the right location, but to be honest, they all look the right size, the same size, excuse me. This backplate feels meaningless. Put these two inside screws. It did not feel like it had a nut. And then these four outsides definitely do, but I'm not sure if I can do this or not. I'm kind of lined up the nut around my finger and then screwed it in while holding down the nut. And I'm just using some pliers to tighten it up. I think the needle nose pliers are going to be the best idea for this. This is just weird. I remember. Oh, okay, I remember now. Like, where did this bracket go to? Yep. This one's going to be extra fun. So I got to put this bracket on first. I'd be more tended to leave this loose while I'm testing it. Where did that go? Yeah, that's a lot more difficult than I expected. That was nuts. Okay. Let's get the screws in over here first. If we do that again. But it goes in between this bracket here, the back bracket and the PCB board. And one final screw. So, say for difficulty wise, these brackets are going to be fairly difficult to do, because you got to get the nut just right and the screw ready to go. This one I can eye up, it shouldn't be much of an issue. Even with eyeing it up, it's so difficult. Wow. Next is this one. Well, this one doesn't look like it has a nut. Nope, that one goes right into the... This one does, though. So I'm just eyeing it up, holding it tight, trying to... There we go. It's that one. Oh my goodness. That one's so hard, guys. Alright, last nut and screw. Let's see if we can get it in there. If we can't, then I ain't really worried about it. But just for completion's sake, it'd be nice. To have it done, all completed. Yay! Oh, with much effort comes great success. Alright, the unit is complete. Now we're going to go over to the computer and install it, and this is the only one I'm going to install out of the 3080 Ti, so there's no confusion. Okay, so after turning off your computer, we are ready to switch in the back of one of our power supplies here, and then we're going to hit the switch, and then you can unplug them if you choose to. And we're going to go ahead and plug in our graphics card. So, one thing's for sure is I want to disconnect one of these, and I'm going to disconnect the other one, so that way, even though it powers up, it's not going to mine. This is one of the cards that we've already done. Feels pretty, not too warm. It's nice. Alright, plugging in the GPU. We're going to have 3 connectors. That's going to be fun. These are never fun to plug in, but the trick is to plug in this one first. In my opinion, it seems to work. If you just do it a little first before the other one, it seems to work better. Alright, and then we got still another connector somewhere. Set up this 3080 Ti. Most of these are just 2 plugs, so I really don't like getting the EVGAs because they just eat up too much power supply. It's quite annoying. Don't buy them. Unless you already have it, then, I mean, they run great, but in the end, it's still a pain in the butt to deal with. Especially if you're mining. I only buy the EVGA if I get a good deal on it. This one I got a really good deal on, so here we are. And currently I'm only paying like $1,500 a card. Some of them have been paying like $1,400. It's pretty nice getting these below MSRP and then hashing at 81. It's really nice. Now these are always in front of a fan, so I'm just going to leave it still in front of the fan. Go ahead and switch it on. And I'm going to go ahead and switch this one on. It'll automatically turn on for us because I already have it set that way. And as you can see, 3 fans are running. We have all the other ones disconnected. Now, if you get an error, then you might have done wrong pads or something worse. So, hopefully you don't. Come on. So there's my RX, really easy to tell the difference. This is popping up with core clocks, that's good. And then we're gonna go ahead and bump it up to what we like, which is 1200, and then minus 200. And change fans. So this is not gonna go in this system, it's gonna go in my server downstairs, but for now, we're just gonna test this and see how it worked. So far we're at 45 degrees. That's not bad at all. Can't complain. So far, pretty darn good temps. I'm just going to be leaving this recording here for about 10 minutes, and we're just going to fast forward through it and, you know, check the hash rates as we go and temperatures. So, I tore down the 3080 Ti EVGA, which was much more difficult, just because of the screw set and how these nuts were working and stuff. Anyway, so I get to the pads, I'm talking on camera because I'm filming the whole damn thing, and I'm like, you know, telling them how they might have to go a half out, a half down, because these pads are a lot more stiffer than your typical stock factory. But when I film the pads, like, they're not as stringy, they're more brittle, and they're more cheap. I was like, I think EVGA used better pads. And I'm just saying, son of a bitch. I was like, because I noticed the you know, the cooling's not bad, but it could be better. And so I measured in those 2 millimeters, and I'm like, you know, debating again if I should go a half a millimeter to 1.5, or I should stick with the 2 that I measured. So guess what I did? I went to the 2. I didn't go a half size down. And I was right. They did use better pads, or more rigid pads, because the 2 millimeter size worked. And all of a sudden getting much better temps too, but I noticed on the VRAM it's maybe like 10, and the processor I got it pretty low. I got it 67. Can't beat that. at full 90 speed. So I'm just like baffled at it. I don't know if you're bored with my conversation already, but I just, you know, the whole nuance behind it, it's fun. You literally should watch instructional video. I watched one instructional video, but I was like, I ain't got time for this, it's boring. So, for the liquid metal, I watched multiple instructional videos because I was like, there's no fucking way I'm fucking this up. You know? So, I'm just having fun, and I thought I'd tell you. Progress is good, but it is a little weird. Are you, just because, you know, like, you would expect to go a 0.5 millimeter down, but it's not. It's different. Why? Because everything else is made me? Yeah, that's true. So, overall, I'm happy that it went well on the first try. Right? Yep. Yep. You doing playing some games? Oh. You're actually not going downstairs, huh? Dude, you got some free time now because you're forced to. It's time to play League. Well, we all know this. I haven't played New World for a week and a half. So, yeah. What? So did you have to put off your Moab? Oh, good. I always gotta back up. Alright, well, let me know what's new. If you got anything going on, I give up on that stupid fan. Keeps on falling out of the window, so. Yep. Well, that's it. Liquid cooling. There we go. Problem resolved. We'll see. Everyone says there's a couple of months temps start going back up, so I'll be watching them carefully. No, it is what it is. All right, I'll touch you later. But, content and different kinds of content. Period. I've been really working on Ethereum mining. And I've been putting liquid metal and new thermal pads in all my systems. Period. It's going to make some good YouTube content. Period. On this one, it certainly fluctuates more on the mega hashes than the other cards, but I would say that my temps are pretty darn good now. Nowhere near 90 anymore, and also the GPU temp is rock solid cold. Well, that is it for this card, guys. I hope you like seeing this video, and more are coming in the future. I plan on tearing down laptops, more graphics cards. I got the hiccups here. More graphics cards and more cell phones, you name it. If you guys have any suggestions, just let me know in the comments below. Let me know how I did, and if you guys have any suggestions, I'd be interested to know. But it's good to know that I was right. The pads were a little bit better in the EVGA. They're more rigid, so they're stronger, and then some of the other cards are less. They're nowhere near, so you have to use less thickness. It's kind of confusing, but overall, that particular card before the Wind Edition 3080 Ti EVGA, it needs 2mm pads. So once again, link in the description, guys. Thanks for supporting me, and please like and subscribe, and more of these teardowns and cooling videos coming in the future. Thanks.